Jack, a dedicated YouTuber, had a profound fascination with capturing ghosts on camera, firmly convinced of their existence among humans. Despite numerous unsuccessful attempts, he remained undeterred in his quest. One night, after another failed attempt to find ghosts, he came home tired. After getting ready for bed, strange things started happening. Lights flickered, and he heard odd noises. Investigating, he found a person by the light switch, giggling. Jack questioned, "Who are you, and how did you get into my house?" The guy's face registered shock as he replied, "You can see me?" Annoyed, Jack retorted, "Of course I can see you." The guy then hugged Jack excitedly, exclaiming, "I've finally met someone who can see me." Jack pushed him away, and without another word, escorted him out and shut the door firmly. Turning around, Jack was startled to find the guy back in his room. Jack demanded to know how he got in, but the guy simply laughed and vanished once more. Upon suspecting the guy might be a ghost, Jack rushed to grab his camera, his excitement palpable. As he began filming, the guy materialized before him, inquiring about Jack's actions. Ignoring the question, Jack blurted out, "Are you a ghost?" The guy grinned and confirmed, "Yes, I am. Are you scared?" Jack shook his head vigorously, responding, "No, I'm thrilled. I've never encountered a real ghost before," and resumed filming. Surprised, the guy remarked, "Most people I scare flee their homes in terror, but you're excited?" Jack explained, "Of course I am. I've waited so long to capture a ghost on camera." Disappointed, the guy sighed, "I came here for a bit of fun, but this isn't fun at all. Goodbye." Before the guy could vanish again, Jack urgently halted him, saying, "Wait, ghost, don't leave yet." The guy corrected him, "First of all, my name is Grayson, not Ghost. And secondly, why shouldn't I leave?" Jack countered, "Okay, Grayson, can you help me find other ghosts?" Grayson inquired, "How will that benefit me?" Jack offered, "I can assist you with anything you want to do, but can't as a ghost." After a moment of contemplation, Grayson replied, "I'll think about it," then disappeared. Jack retired to bed, hoping Grayson would return. Jack's life followed a dull routine, moving from school to his part-time job, with his nights spent searching for ghosts to capture on camera. The next morning, he awoke to the blaring noise of his TV. Rushing out, he found Grayson lounging on his couch, engrossed in the program at full volume. Unable to tolerate the racket, Jack swiftly turned off the TV and questioned Grayson's return. Grayson explained that he had pondered Jack's offer and, while he didn't currently have any desires, had never encountered someone who could see him, so he was going to stay, albeit without aiding Jack's ghost hunting endeavors. Jack retorted, "Why should I let you stay if you won't help me?" Grayson simply replied, "You can't chase me away anyway." Jack glanced at the time and realized he was running late for class. So he ignored Grayson and hurriedly prepared himself before rushing out. During lunchtime, Jack sat alone in the cafeteria when Grayson suddenly materialized beside him. Startled, Jack exclaimed, "Why are you here?" And the surrounding students glanced at Jack with puzzled expressions. Unsettled, Jack swiftly exited the cafeteria, with Grayson trailing behind him. Throughout the day, Grayson shadowed Jack at school. And during his part-time job, whenever Jack conversed with Grayson, bystanders cast strange looks his way, with some even audibly commenting that he seemed crazy for talking to himself. When Jack arrived home with Grayson trailing behind, about to enter the house, Jack blocked the door, preventing him from coming inside. However, Grayson simply vanished, and when Jack entered, Grayson was already seated on the couch, engrossed in the TV program. Frustrated and annoyed by Grayson's antics, Jack headed to the kitchen to quickly prepare some noodles for himself before embarking on his ghost hunting expedition. Absent-mindedly, he ended up preparing two bowls of noodles. Drawn by the aroma, Grayson appeared in the kitchen without being called. Upon seeing the two bowls, he excitedly inquired if one was for him. Jack reluctantly agreed, and Grayson's excited expression suddenly fell. He explained that he couldn't eat and could only smell the food. Jack remarked, "Oh, I forgot, you're a ghost," and Grayson replied, "Don't remind me." As Jack sat down at the dining table to eat, Grayson followed suit with his bowl of noodles. While Jack enjoyed his meal, Grayson simply savored the aroma of the food. Jack observed Grayson for a moment and remarked, "I always thought ghosts looked pale and scary. I never imagined they looked this." Before Jack could finish his sentence, Grayson interjected, "Handsome, I know." Jack chuckled and replied, "That's not what I was going to say, but okay," then resumed eating. Grayson casually attempted to eat the noodles and was surprised to find that he could actually consume them. Staring at the food in astonishment, he tried again and successfully ate another bite. With newfound enthusiasm, he began devouring the noodles as if he hadn't eaten in years. Jack, puzzled, asked, "I thought you said you couldn't eat it." Grayson replied, "I thought so too. I guess I can only eat when I'm beside you." Jack suggested, "Really? Then let's make a deal." Grayson anticipated Jack's request and preemptively declined, saying, "I know what you're going to ask, no." Jack responded, "Okay, then consider this the last time you get to enjoy any delicious food." Grayson gazed at his nearly empty bowl of noodles and confessed, "Honestly, even though I'm a ghost myself, I'm scared of some of the other ghosts. They can be really terrifying sometimes." Jack teased, "Just admit you're a scaredy cat." Grayson retorted, "I'm not." Jack challenged him, "If you're not, then take me to them." Grayson hesitated for a moment before agreeing, "Okay, but promise you won't do anything to hurt them in any way." Jack reassured him, "Of course I won't." Grayson led Jack to his ghost friends gathered in an abandoned house. Though Jack couldn't see them directly, he could view them through the lens of his camera. Initially, the ghosts were wary of Jack, fearing he might be one of those ghost hunters. However, after Grayson assured them of Jack's harmless intentions, they relaxed and began to go about their normal activities, indifferent to the camera's presence. Grateful for their cooperation, Jack thanked them before departing, with Grayson trailing behind him. When they returned home and Jack began preparing for bed, Grayson unexpectedly hopped onto the bed. Jack asked what he was doing, to which Grayson nonchalantly replied, "Sleeping, of course." Jack remarked, "I didn't know ghosts also sleep at night." Grayson chuckled and responded, "They don't, but I do. I'm still lazy even in the afterlife." Jack protested, "I'm not sleeping on my bed with a ghost." Grayson retorted, "Then you can sleep on the couch or the floor, because I'm not getting up from this bed." Determined to keep Grayson at bay, Jack retrieved a talisman from his drawer, intending to repel the ghost. However, Grayson simply laughed and took the talisman, playfully affixing it to his forehead, stating, "These things don't work on me." Jack sighed heavily in frustration and reluctantly climbed into bed. Grayson tossed and turned, clinging onto him throughout the night. He also kept nibbling on Jack's arm, calling it spicy chicken. Fed up, Jack eventually rose from the bed and retreated to the couch to get some sleep. The next morning, Jack rose early to prepare for class. Before leaving, he decided to cook some spicy chicken, remembering Grayson's craving. He went to wake Grayson up and pulled him to the dining to eat, since Grayson can only eat when he is around. Grayson's face lit up with excitement upon seeing the spicy chicken prepared by Jack. He asked Jack how he knew he was craving spicy chicken. Jack replied, "Someone kept biting my arm last night. I wonder if you're a vampire or a ghost." Grayson's excitement bubbled over, and he impulsively kissed Jack's cheek and said thank you. Jack stood there, momentarily stunned, before asking Grayson why he just kissed him. Grayson, suddenly aware of his action, quickly apologized, saying, "Oh, sorry. I always kiss my mom's cheek like that every time she prepares my favorite food. I got carried away for a second." Jack remained silent as he watched Grayson eat. After Grayson finished his meal, Jack swiftly prepared to leave. Before heading out, he turned to Grayson, who was poised to follow him, and instructed, "Stay here and don't follow me. If you get bored, you can watch TV or go play with your other ghost friends." Grayson retorted, "Why are you talking to me like I'm your pet?" Jack responded, "Well, you are acting like one. Don't follow me," and then departed. While sitting in class, Jack hoped for a break from Grayson's antics, but his hopes were dashed when Grayson unexpectedly entered the classroom. He began making funny faces at the lecturer and tampering with the lecture materials. Jack's efforts to intervene only drew strange glances from his classmates. Later, at Jack's part-time job, Grayson continued causing trouble by interfering with customers' orders. Frustrated, Jack finally reached his breaking point and pulled Grayson aside into the changing room, ignoring the stares from others around them. Jack confronted Grayson about his disruptive behavior, questioning why he kept messing around. Grayson simply responded, "I'm bored and I want to have some fun." Jack, frustrated, emphasized, "Then go have fun somewhere else and stop interfering with my work and school. You can do whatever you want because you're already dead and have nothing to lose, but I can't do that. Do you understand?" With that, Jack walked away, leaving Grayson looking crestfallen. Feeling dejected, Grayson decided to leave and didn't return to Jack's house. As Jack finished his shift, he returned home to find a quiet house. Previously, his home had been serene and peaceful, but now the absence of Grayson's presence made the silence feel uncomfortable. Although he could now sleep undisturbed in his bed, he couldn't shake the feeling of loneliness that settled over him. As Jack slept in the middle of the night, he was startled awake by the sound of footsteps in his room. Opening his eyes, he saw Grayson tiptoeing around. Jack quickly sat up, and before he could speak, Grayson hurriedly said, "I didn't come here to cause trouble. I only came to apologize. I'll leave now." However, before Grayson could depart, Jack held onto his hand. He said, "Wait, I'm the one who should apologize. I was too harsh and shouldn't have said what I did. I'm sorry." Grayson shook his head, saying, "No, you were right. That's why I've decided not to disturb your life anymore." Jack replied, "You don't have to leave. I've already gotten used to you, and it feels a bit lonely without you here." Grayson's face lit up with relief as he asked, "So I can stay?" Before Jack could respond, Grayson eagerly jumped into bed. Instead of feeling annoyed, Jack couldn't help but smile slightly and said, "Stay in one place and don't move around so much this time." Grayson chuckled, replying, "Then you'll have to lock me in your arms, because I can't stop moving in my sleep." Jack settled into bed and pulled Grayson close into his arms, holding him tight. He whispered, "This should do." In the following days, Jack experienced a newfound sense of happiness, unlike anything he had felt since moving to the big city for school. His life was no longer monotonous. No longer reliant on instant foods, he cooked proper meals and enjoyed dining with Grayson. With Grayson's support, Jack continued to create his ghost capturing videos, and to his delight, his YouTube channel began to gain numerous subscribers and views. As Jack started to earn a modest income from his YouTube endeavors, he made the bold decision to quit his part-time job, allowing him to dedicate more time to himself. With his newfound free time, Jack eagerly explored the city he had previously been too busy to fully enjoy. Grayson became kind of like his tour guide. Together, they ventured to beaches, amusement parks, and various landmarks, soaking in the sights and enjoying each other's company. At home, too, they played games together. And also sleeping together at night as Jack holds Grayson tight in his arms to avoid him from moving around a lot, even though that was just an excuse. Despite knowing that only he could see Grayson, Jack didn't let this fact bother him. He spoke freely with Grayson in public, disregarding any stares from those around them. In addition to capturing videos of ghosts, Jack embarked on a mission to assist them in various ways. He acted as a conduit, relaying messages from the spirits to their loved ones or aiding them in fulfilling unfinished desires from their time on Earth. He became quite famous amongst the ghost community. One night, a ghost named Clara approached Jack and Grayson with a request for help to fulfill a wish. When Jack and Grayson inquired about Clara's wish, they were taken aback by her unexpected request. She asked them to kiss. When asked why, she explained that during her time alive, she was deeply enamored with watching BL series, often spending days lost in them. She was watching a BL series about a ghost and a human in love, and just as they were about to have their first kiss, she got electrocuted and met her untimely end. Since then, she had been unable to find peace, constantly replaying the anticipated moment in her mind. She longed to witness the kiss she had been denied in life. Jack questioned how she had been electrocuted in her room. Clara responded, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings, but that's not what matters now. I need to see that kiss. She confessing that she had been shipping them since she first saw them together, finding them adorable as a pair. Grayson quickly interjected, sink that ship now. However, Clara continued to plead with them, emphasizing that seeing a ghost and a human in love share a kiss would bring her the peace she sought. Jack clarified, we are not in love, but Clara, lost in her own desire, paid no heed to his words. Jack and Grayson decided to fulfill Clara's wish by pretending to kiss while blocking their lips with their thumbs. However, Clara quickly caught on to their ruse, and with a mischievous grin, intervened by moving their hands aside. Jack and Grayson found themselves momentarily lost in the moment as their lips touched. A joyous squeal from Clara broke the spell, prompting them to part. Clara, overcome with excitement, exclaimed, I can finally rest in peace. I wish you both a fruitful love life. With those words, she vanished. Jack and Grayson walked home in awkward silence. Finally, Grayson broke the silence with an awkward chuckle, asking, that was your first kiss, wasn't it? It was indeed Jack's first kiss, but he awkwardly denied, no, it wasn't. What about you? Grayson, still visibly awkward, admitted, it was my first kiss. Surprised by Grayson's confession, Jack mumbled a quiet oh. And the awkward silence enveloped them once again as they continued their journey home. At home, as they prepared to sleep, Jack and Grayson deviated from their usual routine. The lingering, awkward tension between them made it difficult for Jack to hold Grayson in his arms as usual. Despite Grayson's assumption that he might no longer toss around in bed, he moved restlessly, even nibbling and sucking on Jack's cheek. Unable to tolerate it any longer, Jack finally pulled Grayson into his arms, holding him tightly to prevent any further movement. The next morning, Grayson awakened to an enticing aroma wafting from the kitchen. Eagerly, he hurried to find Jack had prepared soup dumplings. Delighted, Grayson asked, how did you know I was craving soup dumplings? As Grayson noticed a red mark on Jack's cheek, he inquired about it, asking, why do you have a hickey on your cheek? Jack retorted, you tell me. With the awkward tension dissipated, they both sat down to enjoy the meal together. As they were eating, Grayson found himself tearing up. Concerned, Jack asked him what was wrong. With a tremble in his voice, Grayson revealed that he missed his mom, especially as the dumplings reminded him of her cooking. Jack wrapped Grayson in a comforting hug and offered to take him to see his mom, assuring him that he could help facilitate a conversation between them. However, Grayson hesitated, explaining that his mom didn't believe in ghosts, so she might not be receptive to Jack's presence. Undeterred, Jack encouraged Grayson to give it a try, reassuring him that there was no harm in attempting to reach out. After finishing their meal, they set out for Grayson's house. As they rang the doorbell, a woman with a weary appearance emerged. Grayson couldn't hold back his tears at the sight of her, and said that was his mom. Jack introduced himself and explained that Grayson was with him and wished to speak with her. However, Grayson's mom, seemingly disinterested, started to turn away. In a moment of desperation, Grayson embraced her from behind, halting her movements. Startled, she turned to face Jack. Did you say my son was with you? She asked incredulously. Jack nodded silently, and at that moment, Grayson's mom broke down in tears. Overwhelmed with emotion, she expressed that she could feel her son's presence. As Grayson's mom composed herself, she invited Jack inside. Through the conversation between Grayson and his mom, facilitated by Jack, Jack learned that Grayson died from drowning. He was on the yacht party in the middle of the sea with his friends when they dared him to jump into the sea. Since he was a swimming athlete, he accepted the dare and jumped in. However, tragedy struck when he experienced cramps in his leg while swimming back to the surface. Grayson desperately hoped that someone would come to his aid as he struggled in the water, but tragically, no one did. To this day, his body remained undiscovered. Jack's heart ached for Grayson upon hearing the tragic circumstances of his passing. The thought of Grayson's struggles in the water weighed heavily on him, but seeing the joyous smiles on both mother and son's faces brought a glimmer of solace amidst the sorrow. As darkness descended, Jack and Grayson made the difficult decision to bid farewell. Grayson's mom, though unable to see her son, felt a profound sadness at their departure, grateful nonetheless for the chance to sense his presence once more. She prepared Grayson's favorite food, egg and beef fried rice, which Grayson had requested, for them to go. When Grayson and Jack returned home, Jack refrained from asking him about his death, understanding that it could be a painful and sensitive topic for Grayson. Jack observed Grayson, as he ate the food his mom had prepared for him, his usual enthusiasm dampened by a sense of melancholy. In the days that followed, Grayson gradually returned to his cheerful self. Jack vacated school, and so he decided to go see his parents as he realized how much he had missed them since taking Grayson to visit his mom. Jack informed Grayson about his plans to visit his parents, and Grayson asked him how long he was going to be gone for. Jack explained that he typically stayed until the end of the vacation, but this time he intended to return after just 2 weeks, not wanting to leave Grayson alone for too long. Grayson remarked, "So I'm not going to get to eat for 2 weeks?" Jack questioned, "Is that all you have to say?" With a mischievous grin, Grayson leaned closer to Jack. "What do you want me to say? That I'm going to miss you?" Jack swallowed hard before pushing Grayson back with a tap on the forehead. Jack then said, "Well, if it's about food, then you don't have to worry. I've realized that you can eat without me around as long as you have something personal that belongs to me with you. So, I didn't wash my clothes. You can hold them while you eat." Grayson wrinkled his nose in mock disgust, exclaiming, I don't want to hold your dirty clothes while eating." Jack teased, "Are you indirectly telling me not to leave?" Grayson retorted, "You can even stay there forever if you want." Jack then added, "I know you're missing me already, but it's okay if you don't want to admit it." Grayson nudged Jack aside with his shoulder before leaving. Jack hailed from a small village situated on an island, where he spent his formative years. He embarked on a journey to the big city during his high school years, a bold decision fueled by his aspirations for better education and opportunities. As Jack prepared to depart for his village early the next morning, aware of the long journey ahead, he gathered his belongings and readied himself for the trip. Just as he was about to leave, Grayson unexpectedly held the door open and planted a quick kiss on Jack's lips before swiftly closing the door behind him. Jack stood there shocked for a moment before reopening the door and pulling Grayson into a passionate kiss of his own. Breaking away from the kiss, Jack remarked, "Let's continue this when I come back," before departing, with a smirk. As the door closed, Grayson couldn't help but smile and blush. As Jack arrived in his village, he was greeted by the enthusiastic embraces of the local children, who eagerly rushed to welcome him home and lend a hand with his luggage. In the close-knit community where everyone knew each other, Jack was met with warm smiles and familiar faces at every turn. His parents, overcome with excitement and joy, enveloped him in tight hugs as they expressed how much they had missed him during his time away. Jack went to drop his luggage in his room, and to his surprise, he saw Grayson lying in his bed. Rushing to his parents for answers, he questioned them about the person in his room. His parents explained that they had found Grayson washed up on the shore, unconscious and in need of medical attention. As the only physicians in the village, they had taken him in and cared for him, but despite their efforts, Grayson had yet to regain consciousness. Jack's mind reeled with disbelief as he absorbed the weight of his parents' words. The Grayson he had shared countless moments with was laying motionless in a coma. Though relieved that Grayson was still alive, Jack struggled to come to terms with the reality of the situation unfolding before him. He told his parents about how he had been living with Grayson, and his parents told him that Grayson's spirit had to come back to his body, else he would eventually lose his life. They would perform a ritual for his spirit to return to his body. Jack questioned his parents about whether Grayson would remember him after regaining consciousness. Regrettably, his parents explained that Grayson wouldn't retain any memories from the time his spirit was separated from his body. Jack's heart sunk. He had gotten used to having Grayson around him that he couldn't imagine not having him around anymore and Grayson not remembering him. Even still, he knew that he had to bring Grayson back to his body regardless of the outcome. Restless and consumed by thoughts of loneliness, without Grayson by his side, Jack tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. The weight of impending separation weighed heavily on him, driving him to an overwhelming desire to return home and cherish every remaining moment with Grayson. However, his parents intercepted his departure, cautioning him against the dangers of traveling alone at night when boat services were unavailable. He knew his parents were right, and he reluctantly went back to bed, even though he couldn't sleep a wink throughout the night. First thing in the morning, he departed. Upon returning home, he entered, leaving his luggage by the door ajar, and sought out Grayson. In the kitchen, Grayson stood clutching Jack's shirt, devouring ice cream with the fridge wide open. Spotting him, Jack enveloped him in a tight embrace. Startled, Grayson inquired, "Why the sudden return? Is everything all right?" Jack held him tighter, opting not to respond. Understanding Jack's need for comfort, Grayson reciprocated the hug. They lingered in the embrace before Jack gently withdrew and uttered, "I discovered your body." Bewildered, Grayson questioned, "What do you mean?" And Jack proceeded to divulge the details. Relief washed over Grayson upon learning he wasn't truly deceased, yet the prospect of forgetting Jack weighed heavily on him. It was going to hurt Jack more since Jack will be the one left with the memories. They resolved to spend 3 uninterrupted days together to brace themselves for the impending separation. They stayed up all night talking before eventually drifting off to sleep. The following morning, Grayson awoke to find Jack filming him with a camera, emitting soft chuckles. Grayson inquired about Jack's actions, to which Jack responded enthusiastically that he was vlogging their moments together. Throughout the day, Jack captured every moment, from mundane activities like brushing their teeth, playful games, and even lighthearted arguments over trivial matters. As their final evening approached, they decided to indulge watching in a movie, with Jack suggesting a horror film while Grayson opted for a romantic comedy, citing his aversion to horror. They engaged in a game of rock, paper, scissors, which ended with Jack winning. However, he declared, "The loser gets to choose the movie." Contentedly, Grayson leaned against Jack's shoulder as they watched the film in silence, Jack absent-mindedly playing with Grayson's fingers. As the credits rolled and the movie came to a close, Jack said, "Promise you won't forget me when you return to your body. And if you remember me, will you be my boyfriend?" Jack waited expectantly for Grayson's response, but received only silence, realizing Grayson had drifted off to sleep. Playfully poking Grayson's cheek, Jack said, "I thought we promised to stay up all night," before nestling his head against Grayson's and joining him in slumber. The following day, they visited Grayson's mother to share the unfolding events. Together, they embarked on the journey to Jack's village, where Jack's parents facilitated the ritual. As Grayson returned to his body, he remained unconscious. Concerned, Grayson's mother anxiously inquired about his condition. Jack's parents reassured her, affirming that Grayson was safe and would awaken shortly. Jack stayed in the same room as Grayson, to monitor him. The next day, after Jack finished bathing, he returned to find Grayson seated on the bed. Overjoyed, Jack hurriedly embraced him, exclaiming, "You're awake." However, Grayson pushed him away, confusion and fear etched on his face as he questioned, "Who are you, and where am I?" Just then, Grayson's mother entered the room, prompting Grayson to attempt to rise to meet her, only to stumble and fall, due to months of immobility during his coma. Jack tried to help him up, but Grayson pushed his hand away and held onto his mom. Jack's parents examined Grayson and reassured everyone that he was physically fine, emphasizing the need for time to regain his mobility. Grayson and his mother remained at Jack's home for a few additional days to ensure his full recovery before departing. Throughout this period, Jack respected Grayson's boundaries and gave him space, recognizing Grayson's discomfort around him. He didn't even tell him about their time together. At home, Jack found solace in watching the videos he had captured of their time together, often shedding tears as he reminisced. He also frequently visited Grayson's house covertly, hoping to catch a fleeting glimpse of him from a distance. However, Grayson appeared content to resume his normal life, and Jack refrained from approaching him. Jack abandoned his ghost hunting pursuits and instead decided to invest his savings into opening a small restaurant after graduation. As he sat in bed, engulfed in his thoughts, the lights suddenly began to flicker, and strange sounds echoed in the silence. This sudden occurrence instantly brought back memories of the first time he encountered Grayson. As Jack prepared to leave, the sudden illumination of his TV startled him. Suspecting it might be a ghost, he grabbed his camera to investigate, only to discover Clara on the screen. Bewildered, he questioned her presence in his house, to which she deflected, asking instead, "Did you two break up?" Jack, taken aback, inquired if she had been spying on them. Clara evaded the question, pressing on, "Why aren't you two together?" Jack confessed, "He seems content without me. I don't want to intrude, especially since he doesn't remember me." Clara replied, "So you have given up on him just because he doesn't remember you?" Jack asked, "Well, what do you want me to do?" Clara responded firmly, "Make him remember you, or make him fall in love with you again. Why would you just give up on him like that?" Jack's resolve strengthened as he admitted, "You're right, I shouldn't give up on us." Clara affirmed, "Now that's what I want to hear. I'll be here when you need help." Jack, still incredulous, pressed, "But seriously, have you been watching us?" Clara feigned ignorance, saying, "What did you say? I can't hear you," before vanishing into thin air. Despite Jack's repeated attempts to connect with Grayson, he was consistently met with indifference. Even Grayson's mother's efforts to facilitate communication proved fruitless. Determined to jog Grayson's memory, Jack decided to reveal the videos of their shared moments. However, Grayson's reaction dashed Jack's hopes as he dismissed the footage, remarking, "All I can see is you talking and laughing with yourself." Crestfallen, Jack turned to leave, his spirits plummeting. Just as he was about to exit, Grayson said, "Why do you still have that hickey on your cheek?" Jack immediately turned to him with a bright face. "Do you remember now?" With Grayson's nod of recognition, Jack enveloped him in a tight embrace, lifting him off his feet in sheer jubilation. Jack then asked, "Were you playing with me?" Grayson's mischievous smile confirmed Jack's suspicions, as he admitted, "I just wanted to tease you a little." Jack swatted his shoulder before embracing him once more. Jack inquired how he remembered. Grayson revealed that ever since returning from Jack's village, he had been experiencing faint dreams of their time together. At first, he believed the dreams, they were mere side effects of his extended coma and his stay in Jack's village, as he also started to see ghosts. However, when he met Clara and she inquired about Jack and why they weren't together anymore, he realized that these weren't just dreams, but actual memories. Seeking clarity, he turned to his mother, who revealed the truth about his relationship with Jack. He then made a conscious effort to delve deeper into his memories. As his recollections became clearer, he forced himself to remember every moment. Jack embraced Grayson once more, and thanked him for remembering him. After the hug, Grayson simply said, "Yes." Confused, Jack questioned, "Yes to what?" Grayson clarified, "Yes to being your boyfriend, if I remember you." Jack chuckled, "I thought you were asleep." Grayson cryptically replied, "Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't." Jack smiled, locking eyes with Grayson as he pulled him closer by the waist, inching in for a kiss. However, Grayson interjected, blocking Jack's lips, "You can't kiss me in front of my house. What if my mom sees us?" Jack withdrew his hand and said, "She's not going to see us," leaning in once more. Grayson pushed him away, saying, "I'll come see you at your place," before stealing a quick kiss on Jack's cheek and darting into his house. Jack grinned, watching Grayson's escape. Jack, engrossed in preparing recipes for his upcoming restaurant, was startled by the doorbell's chime. Knowing it was Grayson, he hurriedly made his way to the door. The moment he opened the door and saw Grayson's face, he pulled him inside, closing the door behind them, and pressed him against it. Whispered, "You can't escape now," before capturing Grayson's lips in a passionate kiss. Grayson responded eagerly, their mouths moving together in a fervent exchange, each consumed by the intensity of the moment. As they were lost in their kiss, Grayson abruptly broke away and inquired, "Are you cooking?" before darting off to the kitchen. Jack followed him, pleading, "Can you not think about food for just a second?" Ignoring Jack's protest, Grayson retrieved a plate, his eyes gleaming with anticipation, and asked, "Can I have some, please?" Unable to resist Grayson's charm, Jack relented and dished out some food for him. As Grayson took the plate with a grateful smile, he leaned in to kiss Jack's cheek before heading to the dining area to enjoy his meal. Jack sat beside Grayson, smiling affectionately as he watched him eat. Jack kissed off sauce from Grayson's mouth each time it smeared, his actions going unnoticed by Grayson, who remained focused on his meal. As Grayson shared the bed with Jack as they used to, Jack refrained from holding him in his arms until Grayson began nibbling on his ear. Jack, highly sensitive to touch in that area, swiftly got up to prevent any further escalation. Grayson stirred awake at Jack's movement and inquired, "Why are you not sleeping? Am I tossing too much still?" Jack hesitated, unsure how to respond, but before he could say anything, Grayson reached out and pulled him back into bed, nestling into his arms, saying, "Now I won't toss around anymore." Feeling Jack's stiffness and noticing the beads of sweat on his forehead, Grayson questioned Jack, "Are you okay? Why are you sweating when the AC is on?" He replied, "I'm okay, let's go to sleep." Grayson gladly assumed the role of official food taster for Jack's recipes. Jack fulfilled his dream of opening a restaurant after graduating, while Grayson continued his studies. When Grayson's friends saw him, they were stunned and apologetic for abandoning him. He had no reason to forgive them because he held no grudge against them in the first place, even though he stopped being friends with them.